Okay, I want to welcome everyone. Sorry for kind of the late start. We got engrossed with tracking down Nuccia's relatives. She was telling me the story about her mother had an aunt, Lucia Marino, born in Sortino, married with D'Augusto, which we determined was Alfio D'Augusta, and also an uncle, Vincenzo Marino, who immigrated to Omaha. The grandfather was Marino Giuseppe, which would have been one of, I guess that's your grandfather, right, Nuccia? Marino
Yes,
Giuseppe?
Giuseppe is my grandfather.
Yeah.
He never moved. He never moved from Carlentini.
And then she told us that Lucia Marino died related to a kitchen fuel incident. She inhaled gas, and both her and her son died in the accident. The other son visited about 50 years ago when Nuccia was 10 or 11, and Nuccia served as a guide and spoke English to them. And then you were talking about your father would have been 97 years old on May 12th. And then you also mentioned Carmela Padavina, whose mother was also D'Agosta, visited relatives in the US. So that was fun. Thank you, Nuccia.
Thanks to you.
Nick, I've got relatives that are D'Augusta too, that are on the Shishilo side that have come here. And there was a Padavina. That's not the question that I have that I just put up there, but there's a Padavina that came over that was married to, I think, my great uncle, Salvatore, actually Alfio Ruma. And that Padavina died in childbirth. I don't know if the child lived or not, but that's what my uncle Carl told me, my great uncle Carl told me in 2017. I recorded it. It didn't make sense to me, but it was kind of a mystery and I can't figure it out. So I think if Alfio was Sarita's grandfather.
Alfio Ruma?
Yeah. So I don't know if it shows or if you have any information that might show that he had a first wife.
Possibly. I don't know if it's in my tree. It might be in Jim's tree. Let me see what we have. Let's see, search, and we're looking for oh no, I hit the wrong button. Go back. I want the tree search. And Alfio Ruma. So I have several here. Are you with us, Sherry?
Yep.
There's Alfio Fred John Ruma, 1928.
Yeah, that's my grandfather. The Alfio Ruma that I'm speaking of was the 1899 to 1967 one.
Okay. And so what's the story on Alfio again?
Let me find it in my notes because I recorded it, like I said, in 2017. And my uncle was talking so fast, I got just bits and pieces, but he says Alfio, and I was trying to figure out who it was. At that time, I didn't really know the family connections as well. So Alfio, which is my great grandpa's brother, that's him, and Nettie Padavina married. And then he said she died giving childbirth. He came to America after Salvatore, which is my great grandfather, brought him over. Other three brothers and sisters were half brothers and sisters. That's the part I can't figure out what he's talking about. So were there two families? Is there one that was Nettie Padavina, and did she have other children before she died? I don't know what.
So oftentimes these documents will tell a story. Okay, so this is Lucia's petition. She just says that she was married to Alfio on August 23rd, 1914, that he was born at Carlentini in 1890. And the names.
How old was he when he married her?
So if he was, born in 1890 and they were married
So he was 23.
in 1914, so he would have been 24. So it is feasible that he might have been married in Carlentini before he left. Is that kind of how the story goes?
That's what it would seem, but it's not a
Well,
story I'd ever heard of before.
Let's just see what Jim has in his tree. Okay, so there is one here that was born 1899. How does that compare to your guy? No, that's 1890, so that doesn't work. Is this your guy though? Let's make sure we got the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's him.
Okay. So
it should be Alfio would have been Sarita's grandfather.
okay, here we go. Alfio Ruma and Lucia Gulizia. So this Thomas Ruma and Salvatore Ruma. One of these is Sarita's.
Under Thomas is her family.
Thomas and Sarita Troia.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but he doesn't show us another marriage.
No.
So I don't know.
Who was Alfio's parents? If we go back one more.
Alfio's parents, according to Jim, are Gaetano Ruma and Maria Pietruzello, I believe.
Yeah, those are my grandparents on my tree too. I don't know. It's a mystery to me then. I have no idea what it's talking about, but it sounds like there could be some half siblings somewhere way far back, which leads to the question that I do have. Meg Jones Nanfito comes up on my ancestry, and you know how ancestry DNA shows, like in my case, it shows my parents and then my uncle and then my mom's close cousins. And then it jumps down to people you're related to. But at the top, by its DNA parts, is Meg Jones Nanfito. And I can't figure out how I'm related to her. And mine crosses over with Carmelita's too by name. So there's the Shishilo side that we think that that's how we all connect, but we can't figure out where we connect back to.
Okay, so I do have Meg in the tree, and let's see what we got for Meg. Okay, so she's got Manfredo, Sortino, Amato, Consolino, Dimara, Canelia. We need to take this one out a little further. but do any of those names mean anything to you?
Well, the other names that are coming up, I've got quite a few of the Nanfitos on my, it's not just Meg, and then a couple of Caniglias. But none of those are wrapping into my tree at all. Unless there's a sibling of one of them or something that I'm just not finding that connection to.
Well, no, if you have a DNA match, you have a common ancestor. So, you know, sometimes depending on the amount of DNA, it could be out several generations. Like, okay, so like if I look at my DNA, for example, and I look at my DNA matches. Obviously, my father comes out, and I share like 3,400 centimorgans with my father. And I share about half of that with my aunt, with both of my aunts. And nephews are kind of close to aunts in terms of centimorgans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my dad's first cousin. I share 459 centimorgans with her. And so various cousins between 200 to 400. Now we get down to second cousins, we're at 213. This second cousin is only 169. So really, it kind of, you know, I can look at how I'm matched to any of these people because I've traced all of their trees in addition to my own tree. That's pretty much what you have to do to figure out, you know, what the DNA match is. You have to do their family tree in addition to your own.
Yeah, it looks like it goes back to fourth cousin is where it would be.
Fourth cousin, yeah. So when I get down to fourth cousin level,
Mm-hmm.
there's very little DNA shared. So like 60 centimorgans.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that are going to be 4 or 5 generations out.
Right.
Before you can find who your common ancestor is. I mean, this one I know, Victoria I know, but she's like,
and she's only 69.
Yeah, so she's a 69. So I know that here's Victoria and here's our common ancestors right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations out. So you have to have the tree out that far in order to figure out what your connection is.
Yeah, when I go to, it's not popping up a tree, but when I go to shared matches, of course, mom comes up, but then Tom Ruma comes up. Or no, yeah, Tom Ruma comes up, which then that's on the Ruma side. Then I've got a couple of Caniglias that come up too on hers that we connect with.
Mm-hmm.
So when you showed her family tree and it goes to the Caniglia side, I'm wondering if that's the angle that it goes to.
Very well could be that you have a shared Cornelia ancestor.
That goes back on that side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I just need to find somebody that has a tree that goes much further back than mine.
Well, I mean, we could work on your tree and try to get yours back, and then you can try to figure out what common ancestors you share. So one of the things that we discussed at the Saturday meeting was that we were going to try to incorporate more cultural aspects into this. And I know, Eleanor, you've been busy typing and so forth, but did you want to say anything about what's going on culturally at this point? I know Sherry may have some stuff too, as far as the mural
So
project and
seeing that we are so many tonight, we can update everybody about the last meetings going on. Sherry, this week we had 3 important meetings. One was for a documentary. So we are trying to create a documentary talking about our past, present, and future, all the projects that we wanted to realize, all the goals that we have achieved, and obviously what's going on in our everyday life this summer, the delegation from Carlentini coming in Omaha, and then the big group from Omaha coming in Carlentini. So it will be a way to find investors. We want to describe our projects and maybe be able to find some financial help to keep going with a lot of other goals. For example, the mural project. We still have an artist here waiting to be sent to Omaha. And then Sherry had the mural meeting personally.
Okay.
You went, where did you go actually?
It was the Sons of Italy Hall.
Okay, so they chose, as you know, a wall close to Orsis, and it will be this mural. Sherry, can you describe it, because you saw it, so I have no idea about what's.
Richard Harrison is the muralist, and he collected all of our stories for the last few weeks and put the stories, I might have to let you guys go, and put the stories on a wall, but it's overkill and it's really detailed. So now the process begins where, you know, which of the stories can stay and which might need to go on a future mural. So getting it narrowed down a little bit would probably be good, because it's very, very detailed.
So actually we had the 4 meetings, because this was just Sherry who went, and then the other people over there in Omaha. And then we had a meeting with Silvana about the elementary school and Antonella. So during this meeting came out such a beautiful idea, because as you know, with the kids at the elementary school, they cannot exchange emails because of security. So the emails, they should be sent to the teachers, and then the teachers should read them all, see if there are topics that are okay, and then send them all to the teachers in Omaha, and then the teachers in Omaha give them to the kids. So some came out with the idea to write letters as we used to. So the kids, they will prepare letters with their drawings and their thoughts. Maybe they want to use images rather than writing, so they will be freer to express themselves. And then
Eleanora, scusami, ieri è stata la festa della regione e a scuola hanno fatto dei balletti, dei cappelloni, è stato bellissimo, veramente.
Non avete fatto una storia?
Sì,
Qualcosa...
sì, hanno fatto anche dei filmati, quindi penso che poi se ne scambieranno.
Okay, so yesterday, for example, at the elementary school where Silvana works, the kids made a festival about the region, about Sicily. So they made the dances and songs and nice posters. So they made a video, and this video will be sent to the school in Omaha. So starting from next fall, when they will be back at school, the kids, they will start sending each other letters. And I think that it will be a beautiful memory when they will grow up and they will find those letters sent when they were a child. So this was our 3rd meeting. And then the last meeting was yesterday with the deputy mayor and David, I don't remember the last name, the architect who teaches.
Yeah, Dave Hensley.
Dave Hensley, and some interesting ideas about Borgorizza came out. And we discovered that the city of Carlentini has recently won a public fund from Europe of 5 million of euros. And those money, they will be used to create museums, to transform an area of the city that is called the old macello, that is where during the past people, they used to kill the cows and the sheep and making sausages because they needed to transform the meat, and this was a place, a public place that could be
Eleonora, ti posso dire una cosa? Mio nipote quando ha fatto, si è laureato in architettura, ha fatto proprio il progetto di riqualificazione del macello ed è depositato al comune questo progetto.
Ah, e questo
Quindi
bisognerebbe dirglielo,
già
perché
c'è il
Salvo
progetto pronto.
there is a project that is ready, so that all the building will be transformed into a cultural place, and outside they will make a modern theater, because from that beautiful little square we can face the Etna and the panorama. I can show it to you. Let me go. Allora, how can I share my screen? So.
Sure.
Okay, so
Goodness.
let's go to Carlentini. Belts on. All right, so what I need is map. And then I need it, I think the name is Piazza Malta, vero?
Sì.
Malta Carlentini. Perfect. So what about if I wanted to see? No. This is at the feet of the walls, of the ancient walls. What about if I wanted to go in the main? Oh, here we are. Let me see. No.
Più in alto devi andare. E qua il macello, dietro questo muro.
Okay, here we are. So this is the Macello, this building. It seems to be a church, but it's not. And then on the left, there is this area that has been restored. They made a beautiful mural. All right, look at here, so nice. That's better than Google.
Mhm.
We can go quite closer. Ah, so beautiful. So as you can see, this is a bad place in town where kids, they go there to smoke. And when I was a child, I mean, maybe have fun when they
Qualche
needed
anno
to.
fa di sopra c'era la scuola materna dove andava mio figlio.
Years and years ago, over here, there was the maternal school on the right where
No, 20 anni fa, perché mio figlio ci andava.
where
Non si
Silvana's
vede,
kids.
è quella costruzione bianca che vedi forse dietro.
Sì, infatti immaginavo che era quella, l'ho puntata, this one, yeah.
Sì. Poi l'hanno
So
sistemata.
this place needs to be restored. If you look at from the top, at the entrance, there is a nice yard. And then there are those buildings like a U shape. And from here, you can see the beautiful view with the lake and the Etna, but in this picture, it's a little bit cloudy. And the
Eleanor, what is that building?
Prima c'era anche un bel abbeveratoio che poi l'hanno distrutto, peccato.
This is the so-called macello.
Non c'è più. Era l'abbeveratoio dove adesso c'è il chiosco.
Alfio and Alessia, quello che potremmo fare io e te non si può neanche immaginare. Little Italian lesson. What we should do, you and I, you cannot even imagine. You and I like in the fairy tales. And then ti darò tutto quello che nei libri hai sempre sottolineato. I will give you all the things that in the books you have always underlined, but they are poets, right? So from here, we can have a beautiful view of the city. This is a mural. I'm sorry, this is a mosaic representing a lion. I cannot see it from the sky, let's say, but it represents a lion, and it's made with the lava stone coming from the Etna, because actually from this little square, we can see the beautiful view. Now we can see the lion a little bit better. We went there with Patrick and Rose. Do you remember?
Yeah, we have some
Patrick.
great pictures right there. It's a great
Yep.
view.
Yep. That day was nicer than this picture because we could see the Etna. Now the Etna is in the cloud in this one. And then this is the extremely end of the city where during the past there were the walls in the Spanish period. So all of those walls on the left are historical walls to protect the town. And years ago, an artist from Florence, she made this nice mosaic recycling glass, aluminum, canes, material that is considered garbage, but for her was something that was interesting under the artistical point of view. And this is the street that connects Lentini with the Carlentini through the historical centers. So when we are in the old city, I wonder if we can go to the cemetery in this way as well, or maybe even in Borgorizza. Let me see.
Eleanor, what are you using? What mapping?
Maps.
It's just
I found it in my iPad.
oh, on your iPad. Okay, so it's the Apple Maps then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, nice.
So actually, this is the project that we are developing. Here on the left-hand side, we will ask permissions to make a big parking. They have already done it. So the owner of this land is quite open, and every time there is an event, it gives us the possibility to, I can't go inside, so bad. He gives us the possibility to use this land as a parking. While from here, as you can see, there is a yellow building here. Maybe I can move a little bit. Let me see. Okay, this yellow building, right? On the left of this yellow building over here, we have to imagine an amphitheater, because from here we face the Etna and the Mediterranean Sea. But here is cloudy again in this picture. I can barely see the Etna now. The triangle on the top is over there. So the idea is to transform Borgorizza. Some building will be restaurants, others used as hotels. Obviously, our idea was, I go back and how can I stop sharing? Maybe here. Okay, so the idea, seeing that this summer we will have okay. Can you see me? Okay.
Yes.
So seeing that the idea is to start having connections. This summer in August, we will be super busy, I know. But the idea is starting planning for the next year to let the high schools get in touch. And at that point with the Silvana, the teacher, we will discuss about that, because we can start from next summer, with summer schools, with the students in the high school, and that they can sleep in Borgorica, for example. We can host them. This summer, we will have the students of the University of Stockholm, of Basilea. Last year, they made a project about the use of the old furniture that usually are considered garbage to be transformed into some interesting object of design. While this year, they will work on other topics. I don't remember which one. Oh my goodness. We talked about that, Sherry, during the meeting. I don't remember what they are going to do.
Can you repeat that again one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the University of Basilea in Stockholm, last year they transformed the furniture.
They're doing a focus on archaeology there. So they're doing a class studying Lentini's newly found dig.
Okay, that's true. So they will cooperate.
Fascinating for people in the United States to be part of that program, but I think you have to register or be, part of that one of those two universities.
And then the idea is to connect the universities about architecture and archaeology and conservazione dei beni culturali, so preservation of cultural monuments. This is a university here in Italy, and let them cooperate. And maybe one day we can choose where we can build the museum about Sicilian American roots. And then what else? We should connect with the metro, talking about our projects. So talking about culinary, I'm still collecting the recipes, and I have so many from you as well. If you want to send more, with Nick, we have this project to create a book about the recipes from Carlentini and beyond. we can call it like this. So the idea that the mayor had is to send some products from Carlentini to be used during a cooking demonstration when we will be there in Omaha. And I will cook with Silvia De Luca. She will help me combining those ingredients. This will be super exciting. So if you have some requests, why not? Because Salvo Palmieri, the right hand of the mayor, asked me, what do you want me to send? And then I said, I don't know, maybe flour, but I know you have, but I don't know, what can we send? This is a good question. Maybe making a brainstorming. Jimmy Hall, what did he say, Sherry?
So Eleanora, once you get here, you can kind of take a look at what Orsi's has on the shelves, and
as well.
And yeah, Marianne Schmeichel and you and Jim Hall can kind of discuss what else can be, maybe a product that can be sent in from Sicily and how that might work.
Silvana, stai seguendo? Ti traduco
No,
qualcosa.
sto seguendo abbastanza.
Ok, you are my biggest, I'm so proud of you. Il mio più grande orgoglio.
How many people, Eleanor, how many people are coming from Carlentini? You're coming, and the mayor, and who else?
So the mayor and his wife, and then it's gonna be me. The deputy mayor is not available, and Salvo Palmieri, because he needs to document what's going on, and he will be with us as well. Actually, it's thanks to him that I met Sherry, because Salvo Palmieri is the assistant of the mayor, and he's the one who double-checked the mayor's emails, because the secretary of the mayor Sometimes she doesn't read them all. So when we wanted to talk with the mayor, it will be faster to contact Salvo Palmeri, and then the news will go straight to the mayor's ears. So when I started having the idea to create a bridge between Sicily and Omaha, I had no connections at all. I knew nobody. In Omaha, I had just Terry Italia as connection, the guy who told me about this big community in Omaha. So one day, the little tour operator that Sherry chose to organize the big trip called in Carlentini, because in the 2020, in August, there were 5 Sundays. So the question was, can you ask to the priest which Sunday will be the festival of Santa Lucia? Because usually it's the 4th Sunday of the month, that is even the last Sunday of the month. But seeing that 2 years ago we had the 5 Sundays in August, the big question was, when is the festival? And the priest didn't answer at the beginning. It was like, well, we don't know. Well, then the lockdown and everything started. But that's why in October 2019, I heard about a big group coming from Omaha, and Salvo Palmeri told me, look, you know what? You will contact this little tour operator and you will talk with them. So I met Rosella and Gianca in this way. I don't know if some of you, you follow them on Facebook. They have a beautiful page called Best Things to Do in Sicily. And it's very helpful, and they give a lot of information about Sicily. Now, during the lockdown, they couldn't work because they are tour operators, so they weren't travelers. So they have started this business of Sicilian handcraft, entirely made in Sicily. So if we buy a t-shirt, even the t-shirt itself has been sewn by a local lady who bought the cotton and who made the t-shirt, because they said, we don't want to buy the t-shirt from China that are cheaper, making the nice design like on the top. So they made their choices, helping with the idea to help our economy. So this is something that they have developed. And then with them, we have started this Facebook program called Tales of Sicily. They asked me, Eleanora, seeing that we are getting bored, seeing that people, they miss traveling, would you mind being our tour guide online? And then I said, I have never done it. And then they were like, me, us neither, we neither. So we have no idea how to do. And I was like, well, maybe we can start with some pictures. I can describe places that they cannot see. So that's how we started. And in some of those meetings, there was a Sherry one day. So at the end of the meeting, Sherry wrote to me, look, I come from Carlentini. I'm the one who is bringing 50 people. So that's how I connected with her. This was May 2020. And then from that moment on, our life has changed. So why am I telling you this story? Because this is a good question. Sometimes I talk too much, I keep going.
So I put a few things in the chat log. Robin and I went ahead and made a hotel reservation for the dates of the festival, Thursday through Sunday night. And I talked to Todd about having a room where we could all be together. And I was thinking, you know, maybe we could kind of work it out so that there was always coverage in this room, and we could advertise the genealogy and cultural Zoom, and you know, it would be a place too where if you're going to be there, if you wanted to invite your family to come down at that particular hour when you're going to be there, you could do that as well. but he mentioned a conference room in the parish hall that he was going to talk to Father about. And he also said that that might be where the Carlentini guests might also have sort of a home and a place to relax as well. So that would be great if we had that place available as sort of our
Ha detto Eleanor, non ho capito bene cosa ha detto Nick.
Okay, Nick, can you come back again? I was saying hi to Patrick. I'm sorry, Pat. Ciao.
Well, so Silvana is wanting a translation, is that?
Sì, non ho capito bene.
See, so I was just
Okay.
saying hi to Patrick who is leaving.
So it's I put it in the chat log if you want to translate for her.
Ok, allora dice Nick che grazie per avermi chiesto perché stavo salutando. Allora, Nick ha messo delle cose nella chat. Sounds good. Sherry, Nick. Allora, Robin and I made ok. Lui e Robin hanno fatto una prenotazione a Yacht Place nel vecchio mercato il giovedì del Festival di Santa Lucia. Ha parlato con Todd per quanto riguarda questa prenotazione di questa stanza di conferenze dove si vorrebbero fare una performance delle ricerche genealogiche, parlarne in pubblico e condividerlo con gli invitati e soprattutto sponsorizzare le nostre Zoom di genealogia che abbiamo settimanalmente.
Ma questo dove? Ad Omaha?
Sì. This is a great idea.
So the thing that he mentioned, Eleanor, that Todd mentioned was that might be also where you and the other Carlentini guests could call home base, you know, where if you wanted to say, okay, I'll meet you at the conference room.
Yeah, with Sherry, we made a program that will be obviously a lot of flexible. I would like to do as much as I can, and I would like to work in advance if we have requests, because every day I wake up and I'm like, hey, I'm in Omaha in July. I would like to go to the cemetery, and then I go like, Sherry, can we add the visit at the cemetery? Okay, let's do it. And then what was the last one? I was like, hey, I would like to have a breakfast with everybody. And then she was like, okay, let's put a breakfast. And then at one point, when I thought about the mayor's request to make a technical table with business people and interested into the products of Carlentini, and then she said, hey, the only moment available is during your breakfast. And I said, you really don't, you want to touch my breakfast like that? So we are trying to make our best, and what I understood is that the days during the festival are pretty free. I mean, we will be in the festival, so we can organize things while we are there as well.
And how long are you going to be
I would
here?
like to meet you all.
Yeah, so we'll put something together and then we'll announce it on the Zooms here coming up in the next few weeks. I'm going to estimate it would be probably halfway through June that we'll be able to have something put together. It's when we find out from Todd what the schedule is for the festival. And it's when we find out, oh, there was one more thing. I can't remember the other thing. There were two things we were waiting on. And then we'll be able to announce to everybody where you'll be, what's going on. Because I know she wants to do a breakfast. And my thought was that we could get Wheatfields, the one in One Pacific Place, because it has enough space in their back room. So just kind of keep on your list, everybody that's in town in Omaha. And Fred, I see that you're coming. That's awesome. And Kim, will you be here during that time as well? Okay, fantastic. So we'll tell everybody where she's going to be so that if anybody wants to come and visit Eleanor when it's not.
Kim, I can see the beautiful pictures of your ancestors behind you. I can recognize them. That's incredible.
That's me. That's a festa. That's on 12th Street.
Ah, che bello.
That's my mom's parents. That's my
Chi è
little
la festa
brother.
di San Bacchio?
No,
Oh, San
Fred,
Lucia,
Lucia
12th and
Omaha.
what,
Santa
12th and
Lucia.
what, Fred?
12th and Hickory.
Yeah.
Okay, I used to be on 12th and Martha.
Comunque lui quando era piccolo,
Sì, quanti anni avevi di cara, Fred?
Oh, probably Jingle or Otani.
no,
No,
di
che
meno.
Nico.
Oh, you talking about me? Yeah, Nico.
Massimo.
No, che Nico, tu dopo puoi avere 2 anni.
2 o 3 anni al massimo, sì,
Oh, massimo.
massimo.
Che bello. Ah, beautiful.
Comunque è ancora molto simile. È
You,
rimasto
you, you
simile.
look you look like the same, it's true.
È molto riconoscibile.
Mio fratello
Allora, sì.
Rosario, dopo chiamato dopo Milano usato.
Ah,
Gli da
Salvo.
Carlentini Vasile.
Basile?
Yeah.
Basile.
Ananda da Palazzolo Credi.
A
Ah,
Carlentini,
Palazzolo, bellissima Palazzolo.
Carlentini Basile sono pochi. C'è Anna Basile, la professoressa,
Ah,
Adelaide Basile, che ormai è morta. Pochissimi sono.
Tanti anni fa.
sì.
Ragazzi, io vi saluto perché devo aiutare Erika a fare la tesi, quindi ciao.
Va bene, she's helping Erika for the thesis, ok.
Ci vediamo il prossimo martedì. Ciao a tutti.
Un abbraccio, ciao Silvana.
Ciao.
Ciao, vedremo.
Ciao.
Hey, Nick, when you
Silvana.
guys, or Sherry, when you guys have, you know that mass email list of everybody? Now you
Yes.
send it, can you send it on that?
Send
Say
what?
that
what?
again. I'm sorry, Fred. Can you repeat that, Fred? I'm sorry.
You know how we have the mass email of everybody? Can you just?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be because I don't know when I'm gonna be, when in June I'll be back on because we got camps and things
Okay.
going.
Okay, so email.
That'd be great. Then
story.
everybody would know for sure exactly.
Okay, that's a great idea. Thanks, Fred. Thanks for that
Because if you
suggestion.
might miss it on one of these things, and I want to see all you guys, and I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Me
So we'll
too.
probably do a breakfast and then we'll probably do another event. I got to talk to my dad to verify it, but at my dad's house at Beaver Lake, because I know my mom wanted to have it there. So I think, it'll be fine. They've got 2 boats. So dad can take everybody out on boat rides at Beaver Lake or my son. But it should be a lot of fun. That way people can kind of come and go. And Eleanor has requested a traditional American barbecue. So there may not be any Italian food, but there'll be hot dogs and hamburgers.
There you go.
Yeah.
But we'll figure something out because it'll probably end up being a potluck and, everyone can bring something and bring your own cooler. And
I
and
mean,
that
the
sort of-
mayor, it will be the first time that he will be in the United States as well. So I think that he will remember this trip forever. So I think that the most common habits that you have will be a surprise for him. No,
So
no.
one of the things I've been thinking about is, we need to do his family tree. And Al Vicanti said that they were related or something.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yes, it could be. Yeah, I think they are. Because
There's
they
a common
have-
great grandparent on their side, on both their sides.
because the mayor's mother has a family name that is in the tree of Al Vicanti, so it could be.
Okay, I'll give Al a call and see what he knows about it. And I'll try to get Mayor Stefio's information into the tree before all
So
this
Nick,
happens.
when you talk to Todd mentioned he might be able to get you set up then in the Cabrini Hall in the center. 'Cause that would be amazing.
That's what he was thinking. He hasn't made a commitment yet because he needed to talk to father, but we'll see.
I think that would be very valuable and it would be a shame if it doesn't happen. You'd have your computer and everything too, right? If someone had questions, you could jot
Right.
down.
Well, I have a projector and a computer and I could project on the wall and demonstrate things. And the other thing that down the road you might want to consider is we had a Italian festival here. And the one thing that they did is that they created little tents for each family name, so a family group could reserve that area and, spread out their albums or whatever they wanted to. But I was thinking you could do that in classrooms in the parish hall as well.
Interesting.
Good idea.
Okay.
I could bring like my uncle's service album.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What's an uncle service album?
My uncle Yano, he was very organized, and so when he was in the military, like he made a whole.
The service of the military. Okay, nice.
Didn't have any children, and he's my dad's brother, so I have all that. Oh, and Eleanor, this is what I'm gonna bring for you because my mom makes it all the time, and I don't eat it.
Oh, carbonara.
Caponata, that's funny because that was the thing that Robin loved when, it was served fairly frequently, and she just made some.
Well, I'll give her some.
couldn't
I
believe
don't
that you
eat
come
it,
back
but
to
my mom gives
Sicily.
it to me all the time, and because my son likes it. But I got
With Orsi bread, it doesn't get better than that right there.
There you
I'll
go.
I'll
man.
provide this. I'll
That's
be
living.
So I think that I could never expect to come back home with a caponata from the United States. So I will share it with my mom.
Yeah, my Nana
It's
came
very
over one
good.
day, my Nana Nanu, and they made sure my mom and dad knew how to make it, and they've been making it ever since. Well, it's
So Eleanora's mom is the most wonderful cake maker.
For me, she's the best restaurant ever.
We got to taste
I
her
have
cake
never.
for Susie's birthday.
Yeah, she's such a wonderful cooker. Everything, meat, fish, pasta. So every time I bring her to a restaurant, it's very hard because she has a high levels. So she defines herself, il miglior ristorante è Casa Ferrante, because her family name is Ferrante. So she says the best restaurant is Ferrante.
House of Ferrante, yes.
Yep. So yeah, it will be. And when I will be there, I hope that. Are you leaving, Sherry?
Bye, Sherry. Thanks
Bye,
for
guys.
everything you're doing.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, I'll see you guys all
Take care.
later.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
Ciao. So it's so exciting. I can't wait for real. And talking about culture, I think that may be interesting to add some Sicilian expressions every time we meet. So maybe you can create your own dictionary that can be used when you will be here. Why not? So I'm thinking.
I just realized that I downloaded an app on my phone, and I'm not sure where, but it's called iSicilian, and it teaches you Sicilian. I need
Really?
to find it, but
I mean, Google is always one step behind. Hi, Sicilian. Ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see if you can understand, like my dad, Eleanor.
Is it HI?
well, I'm trying to find it. I thought I had the app on my phone.
Is it
but
an app or a website?
it's an app. It's like a language learning app. Or maybe it's under communicate. No. Anyway, I'll find it. We can come back to that.
There was something that I wanted to share with you, but in this moment I lost it in my head. The work, the coming over there. Well, going back to this expression, let me write it down. I would like to start our little personal dictionary with this. Maybe Fred will understand it. So when you will be in Sicily, that's a question that some people can ask to you. Fred, would you like to read it?
Carlentini.
So are you familiar with this expression?
I've heard that before. Long
So
ago.
when we introduce ourselves, this is literally a cui appartieni, means who do you belong to?
Right.
So this is a way to understand which is your family. So usually we immediately answer with the family name. So if Nick will come back to Sicily and I will introduce him to an old lady, usually old people, I mean, older than 65, 70 years old, they still use those idiomatic expressions that were typical. My grandma, she used to ask a lot when I was a child. So when you introduce someone, or for example, your granddaughter gets engaged and you wanted to introduce him to the grandma, the first thing that grandma asks is a cui appartieni. That means who is your family? And then Nick will go like Ciminos. And then the Ciminos of Lentini or Ciminos of Carlentini? Ciminos of Lentini, close to the square, and then they start making like a database, and then going straight to the family. If the family was a good one, then okay, you can keep it. You can keep him, or otherwise. So a cui appartieni means who do you belong to? That is your family tree, actually, the entire family tree. So
because your name is everything there, Nick.
yeah.
Well, even in the old neighborhood, your name is everything. If your name is Silvio, that's it. And that's
and women,
that's
we don't take the husband's name in our papers, so we keep we don't change our family name. So it's the line of the father that keeps going. So a woman has his own name forever. Obviously, we can ask to be called with the name of the husband, but it won't be in our identity card, let's say. And that's something under the psychological point of view, because in the United States, I find that when you get married, you build a new family, and this will be the choice that you will make choosing the husband. As women, I think. So in Italy, even if you get married, you will keep your own name. So if you don't like it, you will keep it forever. Or on the other hand, if you have an important name, you can still use.
Smart. That's smart, because you ever heard of when a guy marries a woman and he says, well, it was great when we were dating, but after we got married and changed the name, everything changed. That's because of the numerology sequence that changes into a name.
Everything changed because they will change the name. Okay. That's an interesting aspect of our two cultures, let's say, American and Sicilian one.
So Eleanora, then the children take the last name of the father. And it just goes down that line.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this is not the app that I have, but it's called Learn Sicilian. And
let me discover it a little bit to see if it works.
The one that I have is just sort of like, it gives you certain words and then it gives a parallel translation in Italian and English, which is kind of useful. But I think it must have gone out of business because I can't even find it when I Google it.
Yeah, well, Sicilian is mostly an oral language. I bought this book months ago. I think that the dialect it's hard to be learned because in every single city it changes. So you can learn the dialect of Carlentini because I speak that one. But here in Modica, for example, when I talk, they immediately understand that I'm not from here. So even those books, sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, you know, which Sicilian are they teaching in those apps? Because it does vary. The regional variations. I think every province or every even towns within a province will have their own.
And that's why it would be better to learn Italian rather than Sicilian, because Sicilian, it's complicated because we have sounds and the pronunciation changes. For example, the biggest, going deeper in this topic, the biggest difference between the dialect of Lentini and the dialect of Carlentini is that in Carlentini, the words starting with TR are pronounced tr. Then you say, okay, what is that? That's not a big deal. And then in Lentini is ch, same sound. So number 3 in Lentini will be tre. In Carlentini is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In Lentini is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ch. So when you talk, other words are, for example, window. Window is a finestra in Italian, but in dialect would be finestra in Lentini, finestra in Carlentini. Traffic, traffico in Carlentini, traffico in Lentini. So because of this TR, they made a lot of big deals like Carlentini, Lentini, like this. So this is the only difference between Lentini and Carlentini, basically. And if Silvana was here, maybe she could find even others. I'm sure that there are. But then the Carlentini is the only village where the TR is tr on Syracuse's area. So they find this aspect very special.
My mom taught, like when she would say Carlentini, she's in Guggendini. Does that make sense? That's Antichi. See, Mary Kay, your dad, they'll understand your dad.
They'll
understand your dad.
The old people.
They'll understand.
There, 5-6 years ago, and he said the old people understood him. Of course, he's 88, but he didn't. Like in Rome, no one.
No chance. They told us speak English in Rome, you have no chance.
Yes.
And then my mom said something. There was a cute girl like Eleanor that was doing the English speaking Vatican tour. And my mom said something to her and she said in English back, I don't understand Sicilian. And my mom was all insulted. I said, the relative told you, speak English in Rome. Right?
Yeah.
They thought my mom, when we were down
Rome there. Dialect is similar to Sicilian, like German is similar to English.
Right.
So actually, I can make an example. Are you talking? Are you serious? In Lentini, we will say, "Ma che sta dicendo per davvero?" Something like this. In Rome, it will be, "Ma che sta di davvero?" So they have different words. They have different musicality. And it's another dialect. It's in the continent, so it's too far from us, and so many differences.
The P's are pronounced with B's. The P's it's not pasta cuzzo, it's basta cazzuso. Basta cazzuso.
Basta cazzuso. Perché Busedda.
Right? Invece dei pasta cuzzo, basta cazzuso. All the P's are B's.
Carlentini or where?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's old, Nick.
Mhm.
All the V's are like W's.
Ah, that's because of the Spanish. So for us, there are not, you're right, the V are B. So in Carlentini, that's another difference. Thank you, Fred. So in Lentini, we say biscotta, to say biscotti. Or what's the opposite? In Carlentini was biscotti. Get confusing.
And aren't some of the C?
Biscotta, biscotta. Biscotta is Lentini and biscotta is Carlentini. I think so. So it changes something, but obviously we understand each other. That I find it very fascinating. And then what else? Why even the toponomastic changes. So we have the names of the city in Italian, Carlentini, Lentini, Siracusa, but in dialect we transform them. So it becomes Carrontini, Lentini, Sarausa, Taormina, that's Italian, Taormina, Sicilian, Palermo, that's Italian, Paliemmo, that's a Sicilian, and so on. Even New York we change, even Paris we change, even London we change. All of them we change. We pronounce them in Sicilian. So London in Italian will be Londra, in Sicilian will be Londra. Paris,
The L's are double D's.
Participe Londra. Did you leave from London to go to London? Or Paris is a Parigi in Italian, Parigi with 3G in dialect. And New York would be New York in Italian, and then New York in Sicilian. Or Nova York, and New York, usually New York, yeah. So this is a very fascinating language that maybe some of you, maybe exploring some expressions, you will go back to your memories. I wonder if in your houses, your grandparents talk to you in dialect. Fred, I'm sure they did, otherwise how could you learn a Sicilian? This is a priceless gift that they gave to you.
It's in my parents. That's what it was. My grandparents died when I was young, but my mom she learned English at 5, even though she was from the neighborhood. My dad learned English as he had older sisters, but my mom didn't learn English until she went to school. Living here, I live down the old neighborhood, but that's how everybody talked, and that's why. And so when we moved to this is the prime example of when we moved to California, and there are a lot of Sicilians and mainland Italians, tons. I couldn't get over how well the old timers spoke English compared to where we were from. I couldn't get over it because usually you'd have somebody translating something. I had great aunts that never spoke English that lived right there on 12th Street. You know, my dad's side and my mom. The older that they were sold, they didn't care to learn. We moved out here and I couldn't get over it because the assimilation was different out here. The neighborhood, there wasn't a condensed area.
And did they
the desire for assimilation with my grandfather once he moved to California was so strong that he left it all behind. And so I felt like I was deprived.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I wonder if they changed Americanizing some words like queca, parca de carro, pushlo, something strange, like the cake became queca, or the
Italian
car,
American, Bacauso.
Bacauso, the back of the house, or Bacauso. Or
we use that our whole lives.
I think
everybody on that screen use that. But see, here's an example. I'll give you another example. So for my mom or dad, like they'd run into, like, say, Mary Kay's dad, and they'd be talking. Next thing you know, it goes from English right into Sicilian. Or if the kids are around, they don't want us to know. I kept saying, I'm going to learn this. I kept listening in. And what is that? that's how that worked for me. But that's how they would talk. Or if my mom would see somebody that knew that she could understand, she would just start talking that way. That's just how it was, even to the day that she died. So, yeah.
I think a lot of
Mary
people,
Kay, does your dad still talk?
he has no one to talk to, but
Right.
yes, I mean, he didn't
He's
even,
outlived everybody in the.
yeah, you know. There's a few, you know, he's 88, but he doesn't see anyone on a regular basis. But I kind of think that
Marianne, did you talk any Sicilian when you were growing up?
just the food. But when
No,
he
Marianne.
called,
Marianne Mangiamelli Webster, can you hear me?
No, I didn't. My grandfather wanted to teach me, but I was a little brat then. I didn't learn. Now I could kick myself for not learning. But my parents and my grandparents all spoke, and I could understand some of it. I just couldn't speak it.
That's interesting. Tonight, I will work on, for example, talking about the translations. Nick knows my last story of today. Since we have started this adventure, something new is happening in my life. Today, a wedding planner asked me to be an officiant. So the day after tomorrow, I will be close to the priest translating for this couple from UK, their wedding in English. So when I arrived in the church earlier, the priest took the book where he has all the Psalms and everything. And it was like, okay, that's in Italian, but where is the English version? And he said, we haven't. And I was like, what? So I'm translating the Mass tonight.
Nice.
The whole Mass in English. So with Nick, we found a lot already online, the Psalms and some passage. Otherwise, I take you like my husband, I take you as my wife, blah, blah, blah. I have to translate them all. So talking about exchanges is always a learning. So I don't blame those people in the past to refuse their culture, because Sicily at the time was very cruel with us. I mean, having nothing to eat is not a happy life. So they cut with this misery and sorrows. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Sometimes
we're certainly proud of that. So
yeah.
why is this English couple getting married in Carlentini?
Okay, this is a nice story. They are not getting married in Carlentini. I'm in Modica, and this wedding planner, she works in this area. So the city where the wedding takes place is called Scicli, S-C-I, S-C-I-C-L-I. Beautiful, elegant city, where they filmed a lot of episodes of the TV series called The Detective Montalbano. So this couple from UK, they were traveling there, they were having their holidays here in Sicily. And in front of this church that night, he asked her, would you marry me? So she said yes. And then at one point they said, but if we get married, we will get married here. So they are coming back from UK and with their families, and they will get married there the day after tomorrow. And the wedding planner told me 2 days ago, the priest was available just today. I have 48 hours to translate everything, and they don't have even the little books. They have nothing. So when I try to let you understand that in Sicily we are last second, is there something smaller than the second? Well, it's us.
It's called a nanosecond.
Yeah, we are last nanosecond. So I wonder how the bride, she's sleeping. She has nothing in English. Everything is in Italian. They will have an entire, maybe they want in Italian like that. So I don't have to translate maybe, but I don't know. They won't understand anything. That's
Eleanor, I was going to ask you, speaking of the church, we don't have to wear anything on our heads here when the women, when we go to church here. In Sicily, do the women still put something on their head when they go into church or not?
Of course,
do.
I'm sorry. When you go to follow the mass,
Yes.
do you still wear a
Put
foulard or
something on your
something?
head?
No, we don't.
You don't. Okay.
No. It was a habit years ago with the foulard. I think that you have translated it with the hats, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't.
Coperta test in Cresa.
Coprita testa in chiesa. Okay.
That's what she means.
I don't know why.
You
we don't
have
do
to.
more.
Yeah.
So
Is
wasn't
this
that,
for men as well?
no,
No, just women.
Why?
We always used to have to wear a hat or something on our head, a scarf or something when we went into church, but we don't have to do that anymore now.
that changed in the 60s. Pope John the 23rd changed that. Nobody has to wear the chapel veils anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's why. Okay, now I
And
understand.
for
why.
the men, it was a sign of respect to take your hat off in church. Right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why they did. Yeah.
I went to Mass last week in New Haven, Connecticut, which has quite a large Sicilian population. And we were at St. Mary's Church where Knights of Columbus were founded 140 years ago. And so they had like 60 knights, but they had a lot of women wearing the veils, even small children. Not everyone, but it was the most I've seen at a regular Mass.
Interesting. I think that the only one who will cover her head will be the bride with the veil, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. Nice exchange.
So I am going to need to excuse myself early. I think I'm going to go now. But if you guys want to
I
continue.
think that we can cut the meeting. It has been 1 hour and a half almost.
Right.
Yeah. It has been interesting.
Okay, Nick, one last expression. Eleanora,
Okay.
ready? When you'd see somebody, you'd say, "Come finio."
That's true. Como finio? Like how it ended.
How's it end? And respondo, "E finio scavio."
Finio schifio.
It ends crappy. That's how you answer that, no matter what's going on. Right?
Finio schifio.
Finio scavio. So
How
when you
can we
see when you see the Sicilians, when you say that to them this summer, Nick, they will go nuts. They'll love that. Finio scavio. That's old school. They'll
Como
love it.
finio.
Okay, since he got to tell a story, I got to tell a story. So we're on this tour bus and we pull up to Segesta, which is, the temples, the Greek temples, and there's all these other tour buses, and there's these kids, they were speaking Italian, and they, so I said hello to them in Italian, and so they said hello back to me, and they said, "Would you like to learn a new expression?" And they taught me some kind of terrible swear word. So I went back and I told my tour guide, and she says, "Never say that ever again."
But which was the word? Now
I don't remember
You
now.
forgot.
That's
If we
great.
invite Karen, we'll have to ask her what that swear word was.
Never trust.
Kids.
There
I
is a
don't think
brand.
she'll say it, especially if she's being recorded.
There is a brand in Sicily that has been recently developed. It's called the Sicuramente. That's a brand of t-shirts, and every t-shirt has something dirty under the shape of being something nice. Maybe I will explain you some of those t-shirts. Those are cute. Maybe next time we will start with
Okay.
those aspects of our Sicilianity. The way we concentrate our entire philosophy as the French do, they use c'est la vie. Well, in Sicilian, we have the same c'est la vie, but in Sicilian would be futtitine, futtitine. Is it familiar? Futtitine. Have you ever heard about it?
I've never heard that.
Oh,
Futtitine means forget about it. Don't worry about it. Futtitine. That's a Sicilian philosophy.
Scuttadillo.
No, futtitine.
Scuttadillo means forget about it too, doesn't it?
Aspetta.
Scuttadillo.
Scordatelo. Scuddidillo. Yeah, futtitine. Yeah, more than forget about it is don't worry about it. Futtitine.
what the thing?
All right, well, we'll see you all next week and.
All right, guys.
have
Have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Thanks again, Nick.
you.
Thanks for everything. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Use that Mary can with your dad. He'll love that. Come finil. Scuvio finil.
Yeah, I'm calling them now.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Bye,
I
guys.
love it.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.